You're listening to the Trading Bear podcast. This is episode 10, The Daily Show.
Mystery player. Position.
Forward.
Start price.
£3.93.
Current price.
£8.30.
PB.
8p.
MB.
32p.
Dividend yield.
4.8%.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining again. In the news today, Chelsea appeal their transfer ban. Surprise, surprise. Sanchez is out for 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury, with Manchester United's injury list growing stronger by the day, and Oxlade-Chamberlain starts his comeback trial with an under-23 game match against Derby on Friday. And finally, Mourinho is linked with a move back to the Bernabeu. When questioned whether he'd go back to a former club, he simply replied, "Why not? If a club likes you, they show passion to get you back, then I have no problem to return." Inside the camp of Bernabeu, Modric laments Madrid's failure to address the hole left by Ronaldo and the goals that he scored. Will Modric be proved right? Real Madrid take on Ajax tonight in the second leg of the Champions League. They're currently 2-1 up, and Spurs travel away to Borussia Dortmund, 3-0 up from their home leg at Wembley. Can they make it through to the quarter-finals? And we stay at Real Madrid for today's first riser, a man that Roman Calderon, the former president of Madrid, today claimed on TalkSport has not lived up to expectations. He was, of course, talking about Gareth Bale. Now, Gareth Bale has been in the news a lot in the last few days, namely thanks to his agent, who's labelled Madrid fans a disgrace, if you didn't hear yesterday's show, after the so-called fans booed Bale off the pitch after Madrid's 1-0 El Clasico defeat to Barcelona on Saturday. This has fueled rumours that he's going to be off in the summer, with Rio Ferdinand also chipping in, saying that Manchester United should go all out to sign both Gareth Bale and Jadon Sancho. So this transfer talk and the discontent, rumours of discontent, has caused Bale's price to go up 38p today, and he now sits at £7.36. For my money, the correct pricing in the current market for a player like Gareth Bale, who's not hitting the headlines but has the potential to do so if he comes back to the EPL. One player looking to get up into the EPL is a player linked with Spurs last summer, another young English talent, and that's Jack Grealish at Aston Villa. After going up 42p today, his price now sits at £3.50 after rising steadily since Saturday, since the weekend. The reason for the initial rise was because of his Paul Scholes-esque volley, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It was a great goal, and that was the fourth goal in a blitzing first half performance against Derby at the weekend. £3.50 for Jack Grealish. If he continues his summer links, it could be a good price. He's certainly got the character as well to be in and out of the newspapers should he move to one of the bigger clubs. And this one for me is a semi-logical rise. The price he's risen by in a short amount of time is too much, but in the long term I expect to see his price between the £3.50 and the £4.50 mark. Two fallers today are at either end of the age spectrum. The first one we had on the show yesterday, and it was Bobby Duncan, Steven Gerrard's cousin. And to no one's surprise whatsoever, his price fell down today 15p, and he now sits at £2.43. I expect his price to steadily fall down towards around the £2.20, £2.25 mark, and then rising again as and when he bangs in a hat-trick for the under-18s again. Today's second faller sees another player previously mentioned on the show under the question and answer section, and that's Martin Braithwaite, the Leganés striker in La Liga. And he's fallen down 15p today and now sits at 68p per future. Why is this? Well, they had the game on Monday night against Levante. He didn't score in the game. People bought for that match and that match only. Now they want to get rid, so his price has gone down. Let's have a look at some of your questions now then. Today's first question has been sent in from Doug in Turkey, and he says, I've heard rumours that Football Index are looking to expand into Spain and Germany. Is this true? At this stage, Doug, it's still very much rumours and hearsay. There are no firm plans or dates as to when these two countries, or indeed any other countries, will be implemented into the game. However, with that said, Kieran, who is the Director of Product and Operations for the Index, was recently on a podcast with Fig, that's the Football Index Guide. Fig runs a great podcast show interviewing the biggest names in Football Index every week and it's released on a Sunday. I have no affiliations with Fig whatsoever, but it really is a good show and interviews some great characters, so listen to that if you haven't already. So, Kieran was on one of those shows early January, along with Adam Cole, the CEO, and Mike, the marketing director. And they were asked this very question. They said, where do they next plan to go into? What countries do they next plan to go into? They said some countries are harder than others due to the gambling laws and licenses, and I think they hinted towards America being one of the examples of being extremely hard to get into. But then they did mention other European countries, not by name, but they strongly hinted that they would like to get into the Spanish and the German markets in the near future. That said, I certainly don't think we'll see any new countries introduced before the end of this season, and I think optimistically we might see some new countries added just before the start of next season. So for my money, it will be July, August at the earliest. Anything before that is just simply a bonus. The second question comes from Adam on Index Gain, who says, great show, enjoying your work, Trading Bear. Who was your first ever buy on the index? So, off the top of my head, I had actually forgotten who was the player I first bought, but I could at least remember that I bought 3 or 4 players who were young, English, with a strong chance of getting into the England squad. Now, I joined the index in August of 2018, and it was a few weeks before the first international weekend. So I had a look at my portfolio, I record every single transaction I ever make, and the first player I actually bought was, believe it or not, Jadon Sancho. I bought 10 shares in him at a cost price of £3.64. He then proceeded not to get called into the England squad. It was one too early for him, so I sold him. I sold him at £3.50. I made a loss of £2.10 overall in that trade. Little did I know, 6 months later, he'd be worth over £15. I'd love to know who your first buy was and whether it's equally as successful as mine. So send them in to tradingbearpodcast@gmail.com and we'll get them on the show. That's it for this episode. You can download and subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify and Podbean. Head over to the website to send in a question, tradingbearpodcast.com. Alternatively, you can find me on Index Gain under the name Trading Bear. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for the mystery player.
Mystery player. Position.
Forward.
Start price.
£3.93.
Current price.
£8.30.
PB.
8p.
MB.
32p.
Dividend yield.
4.8%.
Trading Bear. Today's mystery player was Raheem Sterling.